want to welcome you guys. And just do me a favor, make sure you share this call with everybody in your team. If you have people that are interested in trading, this is the best call to share with them. So I'm going to get myself out of the way, and I want to bring up our first speaker for this call. And let me just tell you, like, my wife is one of the smartest people that I know. And when we first launched Akashics and we started to get tap to trade going, I was watching Jenna take trades on tap to trade. She was taking trade alerts, and she eventually got the hang of it and became an independent trader. And so she started out with one of the trading challenges. Right now, there's an amazing special on our trading challenges that you guys know. You can get a 50K challenge for joining Akashics at 149. Or if you prepay for the year, $14.99, you can get a $200,000 trading challenge. And just to share her quick story, she went through the challenge phase maybe like 10 or 11 times. She failed the first 10 times. Then I think on the 11th time, she passed her 200K funded account. She was trading on the 200K account, pulled like maybe 10 to $20,000 in profits out of her challenge account, and then decided that she was going to open up a live trading account and start trading on her own independently. She still takes some trade alerts here and there, likes to see what some of the educators are doing, but she is like totally nerding out every single day. Like, I'm usually the person in the household that's always staring at my phone. Like, I walk around and I stare at my phone, just checking everything. And now that's her, but she's trading, making great money and having a blast. And it's very impressive what she's been able to do in the last 2 to 3 weeks on a live account with her own capital. She's been able to profit $78,000 in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And so I'm very proud of her for her results that she's gotten trading. And I'm excited to hear like more about her strategy, what she's doing, and how it's working for her. And then we also have Joel Arias, one of our educators as well. Joel went on an amazing 4 week run on tap to trade. Mainly, he was trading XAU USD, which is gold. I think there's 400 people that passed their challenges taking Joel's trades. He went up like 45% on tap to trade. And the reason why we wanted to do this call is because he started calling BTC USD trade alerts, which is what Jenna was trading. And so Jenna was trading BTC USD. He's calling trade alerts, and they're like, hey, we should do a call together and just talk about our different strategies and how we analyze the market. So with that said, Jenna and Joel, welcome to the call, and I'm really excited to hear from you guys. And I'm sure everybody here, based on all of the comments coming in through Zoom, they're really excited to, hear your guys' live trading session and your analysis. So turn it over to you guys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you can hear me and see me okay. I am super excited to do this call. I know we've got a lot of new members joining us. And so basically, in this call, I'm just going to share with you guys just exactly what I'm doing. I just want to share that because my goal is for you guys to become independent traders. That's really where the fun begins. That's where you take the keys back really to your financial future and are able to make the decisions yourself. So some people I realize are here for tap to trade. Some people are here just for the trade alerts, but I really wanted to become a trader myself. I guess I'm a control freak. I don't know. I just really wanted to figure it out. And by all means, I have not figured it out completely yet. I just really want to warn you guys. I'm very new. I'm like a baby trader compared to our Akashics educators. They're much more, I feel like, conservative and responsible people compared to me. So everything I'm about to show you, take it and add to your tool belt, but also listen as well to the other educators, compare what I'm doing to what they're doing. I have a little bit of a different strategy. If I had to, you know, label it, I would say this is a high risk strategy. So it's good to have multiple accounts. So, for your high risk strategy, you can follow me. And for lower risk, go into the Kashik's educators, maybe diversify your funds a little bit. And this is going to be definitely more, I feel like, aggressive. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen so we can just dive right into it. Before I really get really into it, I want to say, first of all, thank you to Joel for being my inspiration because I would not have jumped into trading probably at all by myself anyway if it wasn't for him. He made one call. He made a Bitcoin alert and I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to trade gold. Are you serious? So I went right into that. That gave me the confidence to really dive deep on everything. I got into, all the news and I checked out all the memes. I scanned Instagram and TikTok. Who's saying what about Bitcoin? What's going on? And right now we're at such a crazy moment. And I don't know if everybody even realizes it, but we are in a crazy moment in just history right now. So I think the consensus is, especially in the crypto community, that we're about to just get into a massive bull run leading into the next year, which means there's a very, very good opportunity for people to come in, learn some skills, and make a lot of money. So if this was HempWorks in 2017, this would be like our launch pad right now. And if you missed that wave, don't miss this wave. Get serious about Akashics, get serious about trading, and don't over risk anything. Like, be responsible, of course. Pull profits when you can. But I am just very excited for the future and what's to come. And I also want to say thank you to Josh for being our stable person in the company that keeps everything moving and is, making sure the Akashics wave is not crashing, and we have so much more growth to go. So thank you to Josh for putting all of this together, for the hours, the man hours that he puts into this company, and the rest of our Akashics educators as well. So with that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen. One sec. Hold on. I'm going to show, hold on. It says I can only share one. Let me see if I can share my whole thing. Well, I'll just toggle. How about that? All right. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is just my Trade Locker account. So let's just start from the basics. Can you guys see this okay? And this is a very just educational, informational call. So this month, I went up over $78,000 just this month. Absolutely crazy. And how I did it was capitalizing on the pullbacks within this bull run. So Bitcoin is in what we call a bull run, which means it is definitely on the up and up with all these new companies now getting behind it. All the governments are starting to have like a Bitcoin reserve as a hedge against the dollar. It's a good time to buy Bitcoin. Like anytime between now and like mid next year, it's a great time to buy Bitcoin and hold it. So when you're trading, that's different than when you're holding. And I know I kind of pivot back and forth to that topic in my own chat, but that's really the reason, is because as I'm making profits trading, I'm pulling them out and I'm putting them into a coin that I'm going to hold for a long time. What I mean by that is like 6 months to a year, I'm going to hold it. So what I want to share with you guys really quickly is some of the tools and indicators that I'm using to kind of evaluate what's happening on the chart, right? So let me make this a little bigger if you guys can see that, okay? So my strategy leverages, you can't see it or you can't see it? Cannot see it? Joel can see it and Nico cannot see it. And Nico, what's wrong?
We can
Okay,
see it.
Jenna,
It's just a little
see
small. If
it.
you could make it a little bigger.
All right, let's bloat up. One sec. All right, and I'm gonna move all of these little lines over as well. So I have it very blown up so you can see what's going on over time. But what I'm gonna do is, so I'm in the 5 minute time frame. Hold on, let me shrink this a little bit. I want to show what's going on just right now. Okay, so if you can see, I'm gonna first, let me back up. I'm already getting overwhelmed. Hold on. Let me show you what indicators I'm using first. All right, let's start with that. So none of them are saved, of course, in here because I don't usually use my computer. I use my phone. But a lot of people ask me, what the heck is this down here? This is called a chop zone. If you go to indicators, and I like to set these up before I make decisions because it just gives me some information on kind of what's happening. All right. So the first indicator I like to have at all times is the chop zone. This is important for this one right here, my strategy, because as you can see currently right now, it's all in the green. What I like to call this is the Joel zone. Okay. So this is when he's calling trades. So I take his trades and I ride this wave. I'm not calling my own trades during the zone. So if you're in my chat board, it's because we're in Joel territory right now. So that's why. What I like to do is I like to get into these red zones, which in some case could be a little scary because you never really know when it's going to be done. But I do use some tools to kind of try to figure out what's happening at what time. So when I see the red starting is usually when I'm getting ready to place some trades. Usually towards the middle to the end of this red, as it's starting to flicker into the green, I'm already probably in profit and closing out. Joel calls his trade right around here, and I close too early. I'm always closing too early. I think maybe by next year I'll be holding longer. We'll see how long it takes me to build up, my confidence for that. But he's coming in here, riding this whole wave, and I'm usually closing somewhere around here. So when you see me in a trade and you're in drawdown, don't worry. We're going to enter the green zone. When we enter the green zone, you'll be in profit. And then if you see Joel call a trade, then we just met in the middle. So now we're in really good territory. But know that we don't know when it's going to dip next. So I like the chop zone because it tells me kind of what's happening as far as who's in charge right now. Is it the Bulls or is it the Bears? The Bulls represent the green. The Bears are the red, okay, and which is basically the sellers. Okay, so if I'm gonna measure like this right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out the fib retracement tool, right? And you guys can use this yourself, and you can use it on multiple time frames depending on how long you want to hold a trade. If you want to be in and out, you probably don't need it. If you're going to hold it for a while, this is a good tool just as like a reference point. So when you put it here at the bottom of the low, right? So that'll be here, and you're going to stretch it up to where it is right here, okay? And you could drag this all the way if you want to see, where it's going as far as numbers goes. But if we place this here, then you're going to see right in the middle is like the sweet spot, okay? So 0.5 is a great time to enter when you're using the Fibonacci strategy. Anyway, so I'm going to come in here. I'll place my first trade here. I'm going to place another trade here. And these are going to be pendings. I don't place live trades unless I'm taking Joel's or another Akashics educator signals. But I like to do pending. Sometimes I'll just take some random ones, but it usually doesn't work out in my favor. So I'm going to take them here and space them out here just in case it goes down here. And so if I'm looking at this, it says about 94,000. So basically based on this current chart, if it comes back down here, that's a great time to buy. Right now, the risk is that it just keeps going up forever, right? And it just doesn't come back. Eventually, it's going to have a pullback, but it might just be a small one like this one here, right? So, but I'm looking at this longer trend line. So if we are holding our pendings in here for a day, or maybe even, I don't know, however long it takes to get here, this is a great time to basically buy and wait for it to go back up. Now, I'm going to compare this analysis with TradingView as well. So this is actually just trade logger. And let me explain some things before we leave the screen. This is the RSI. This is relative strength index. So basically, this is all-time high for the time period. This is all-time low for the time period. In the middle is usually when nothing exciting is happening. But I don't make my trades based off this information, but I know that if this goes way above all-time high, in my strategy, I'm probably going to stay out until it comes back down, unless I'm making a sell. Like if I'm selling, that's a great time. If it's over here at an all-time low, then I'm probably going to come in here and take a buy. My strategy is buy low, sell high. And sometimes, and the reason I take multiple entries is because if I mess up the first two entries, my third, fourth, fifth are probably going to save me. So if I close out a couple of the ones on top in red, if I close too early, if I'm going to hold and go with Joel, then I'm going to keep holding them. But then these bottom trades are going to bring me into profit. Now, the reason I like Fibonacci is because I'm a spiritual person and I like things that are also in the universe and the Fibonacci ratios everywhere. I use it for roulette and I win. Like I literally win every time because it's like a 96% success rate if used correctly. So that's the basics. That's RSI. This right here is a volume oscillator. So if you see this little blue number over here, this is basically like the power behind what's happening right now. Like how much volume is happening. Let me see if I can delete this. I'm still new at computers. Hold on. So I, I do all of this for my phone, which should be good for you guys because most of us are just mobile, right? Okay, so there's not a lot of power right here. It's going up slightly, which means we might see some selling volume, but it's such a low number. It's right in the middle. So it's like nothing really exciting happening. Now, if this goes to like 20%, you're going to see a big drop. If it's on a red candle, then okay, it's going up. So that means the selling volume is going up. If this flips to green and you see like a negative 20%, that means nobody's interested in buying right now, right? So that's just something that I'm looking at, just kind of in the back of my head, looking at that. The other thing I look at right here is this purple line, which is the VWAP. I don't know, I forget what that stands for exactly, but I do know that when this is under where the candles are, it acts as a support beam, which means we're still in a bull trend. If you see this purple line here up on the top, then it means it's a support line for keeping the prices down, right? So right now, this is way over here. So it would have to come all the way down here for that to reverse. And so everything's looking good as far as we're going to be in the green zone for some time. Okay, so now I want to go into my next thing I want to show you really quick that I use to just make decisions. And sometimes you guys are like, okay, Jenna, you just put your pendings and then you move them again. I don't control the market, you guys. I'm just have to shift with it. You can't be too stubborn and, in trading, you have to be flexible and learn how to go with the flow. So it's not 100%, precise all the time. Okay, so let me stop sharing for a sec and I'm going to reshare my trading view. So here's another thing that I'm using as well to make decisions. And then I'll just go over a couple basics and then I'm going to pass it to Joel so you guys can understand his strategy. All right. So I'm looking at this I believe it's in a 5 minute. All these screens are overlapping. Can you guys see this okay?
Yes, it's in the 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. My Zoom's blocking my view. Okay, so it's in 5 minutes right now. So I check in the 5 minutes because it's going to tip me off on a trend early, but I'm always going to check in other time frames as well to see if it's confirmed, right? So right now we see a rising wedge, which means it's coming up to a point where it's going to then retrace, right? Rising means falling and falling means rising. So if you see falling wedge, that means it's about to go up. Now, if you back this up like, let's see, to like a week. Let's see what happens. It gets very smushed. Hold on. Let's get it back into view. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. Wow. This is takes some skills. Look at what is going on here, you guys. Couple handle. I never seen that one before. I had to Google that. Do you know what that means? What does that mean, Joel?
It's just a pattern. In fact, I feel like 2 weeks ago, I did a session about this. We've been talking about the cup and handle pattern. If you guys have been in the session, you know how to identify it.
Okay, so in this situation, I would be Googling or I'll be going on the live sessions. This is out of my territory. Let's go to 30 minutes and see if any of these patterns are showing up for us. Okay, so in the 30 minutes, for the last 30 minutes, basically, not the future 30 minutes, because we can't tell the future, right? Is a falling wedge. So it's still saying, no, we're still in an upward trend. So from 30 minutes ago, definitely we see an upward trend. That could be it right there, but we don't know where it's going to go. So let's see. I'm going back to 5 minutes. Actually, I'm going to go to 10 minutes. So there's the big falling wedge there, and there's a little baby rising wedge here. So it means there's going to be probably a smaller pullback, but there's going to be much greater growth ahead. Okay, so I'm using this basically just to see what's going on as far as patterns and charts and things like that are going. Now, the cool thing I want to show you in this is if you go to indicators and you go to technicals, and you go to patterns, you can pick which patterns you would like to see. I just put all, like just show me everything. I already have it on here, so I'm gonna delete one. But it will show me everything. So it gets a little messy sometimes because then you have like literally everything. It's gonna be like, oh my God, a hammer popped out or like a doji popped out. Actually, that's a different one. Let me show you that real quick. That is, if you scroll down, you're gonna see candles. I think. Oh, here we go. I passed it. All candlestick patterns. So if you're not a pro, then you can see what it is like candle by candle, what's happening. This is how you eventually start to learn how to read the chart because you can see what's going on. So BE means bearish is red. Bearish engulfing, which means we have a slightly larger red candle than the previous green candle. Okay, that's not like super substantial at this point in the game, but at least you have the ability to kind of see what's happening before it actually happens. Now, the interesting thing about this is if it's little a dotted line, it means it's not confirmed yet, right? So this is a hard solid line. So that means this part of the wedge is confirmed. However, it needs to probably go a little bit further before it has to hit the target before it's completely confirmed. Once that's confirmed, then you know some action's probably about to happen. But again, you want to check this on multiple time frames just to be sure. So the last thing I forgot to show you guys, but probably Joel's going to show you guys, is the EMA cross, right? So hold on. How do I get out of this screen? Stop share. And if you guys have questions, then please ask in the comments and we will circle back and have Josh call them out to us. Okay, so the other indicator I like to use as well, and I don't use this as just like, I don't use just one thing, right? Like I use multiple things to form an opinion. Okay, so we go to indicators, we can go to EMA cross, favorite that. And now you can see the last EMA cross was way over here. I made it yellow so it stands out. I think it defaults to blue, which might blend in a little. So you have control of that. So that just means we are in an upward trend. Now, if this dips further, right, and an EMA cross comes out for the red, that's when I get excited and that's when Joel starts closing his trade. Okay. So I get excited because that means we're going to go down and we're going to do a dip and I'm going to put some trades in here and buy as low as I possibly can without blowing my account. So there's the EMA cross for the downward trend, a little tiny low. So lower lows, higher highs, upward trend confirmed. So I checked those as well. I checked them on multiple time frames because if you have a confirmation in 5 minutes, but not in 10 or 15 minutes, this little 5-minute one can just poof disappear. So you want to make sure it's going to stay there for a minute before you jump in. So that's basically what I'm doing. Now I will say this, how did I make so much money so fast? Reckless driving, really. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I started my sequence at a 1 lot size, which is pretty high, I would say, for a 100K account using Fibonacci. I suggest using 0.1, especially if you're doing TradeX Mastery. If you're in a challenge account, you can't take too much withdrawal. My strategy is mostly winnable, I should say, for live accounts. So what I did was I took over $20,000 out of TradeX Mastery. I put it into my broker, which is Trident. And then I started live trading and I grew that to 78 grand from about 25 grand was in there to start with. So that's kind of where I'm at with my trades right now. And I did it because I used the higher lot sizes. But like I said, start at 0.1. How you're going to do the math is very simple. So if your first trade, let me just show you, and then I'm passing this off. If you're on a 100K account, then you're going to start with 0.01. I like to do pendings first. So what did we say? Right under this dip was a great time to enter for this pattern that we're seeing here, or this, it's not really a pattern, it's just kind of a line, but I'm going to put it here. 0.1. Okay. And then what I'll do is also one comes up next. Oops. Where did it go? Right here. So I'm going to go down a little bit further. Buy. And then also like to see have we hit multiple areas in this zone? Yeah, we have, but it could go to here because this is like worst case scenario down here. So we could be buying all the way to here before it goes up. Now you only needed to go up to here before you're in profit, but I'm looking at this line right here before I make all my decisions. Now, how Fibonacci works is you start with 1, okay? 0 plus 1 is 1. And then hold on. The 1 is the freebie. You start on the second one. 1 plus 1 is 2. So then you get a 2 here for your next trade. So it's 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, and so on. So the craziest bet I've made in roulette, I got to $8,900. It was $100 bet. Okay, I'm saying roulette because it's similar-ish. And before I won massive amounts of money right after that. And the reason is because it's unlikely to lose that many trades in a row. It's unlikely. Eventually, it's gonna go in an uptrend from there. And that's where I win. So, I have got to 34 in my sequence, and that was during this BS right here, okay, where it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, okay, we got to do another one. So that went a little far. And had I been holding them for the last 3 days, I would be probably up another 15 grand or so. By chickened out, y'all, I just literally chickened out and I closed it. So, and I do chicken out sometimes. Don't be mad. If I say I'm closing, you don't have to. You can hold for the rest of your life if you want to. But that's just what I'm doing because I like to just end in the green. I don't usually hit stop loss because I set them in no man's land way down here. I don't even want to look at my stop loss. I'll put it unrealistically low because I'm just not even paying attention to that. I will say this, I am smarter now, okay, than I used to be. I will, when I do place my trades, for instance, if I think we're going to go to 105, this is extreme for right now, but we'll just say that. If my stop loss has to be, this number must be smaller than this number. So you do, let's say 8,900. So that's probably a decent ratio. I'm not going to lose much. And again, it's probably not hitting take profit, but it's probably also not hitting stop loss. But in the middle is a win zone for me. And I'm just going to keep an eye on it. If I'm getting close to here and Joel calls a trade, then I'm probably going to hold it a little bit longer. If he doesn't, then I'm just cashing out because that means if he's not confirming right there, then I'm probably not going to either. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with my trades. Hopefully I covered enough that you guys can at least kind of start getting into the market a little bit. One thing last, and I keep saying that because I keep thinking of more things and I don't know. My brain is just like a squirrel today. Hold on. The one thing you can do with the Fibonacci tool as well, if you choose to use it, I honestly eyeball it most of the time, but I do like this. Look at this little flagpole happening here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's say this is the low. If you're like, I don't want to wait till it goes all the way, you can go to here. And now you have a much smaller scale. So now here's the buy zone right here. But again, this is for much shorter term trades than the one I was looking at. So I'm taking longer ones now because these dips haven't formed too much of a pattern just yet. We're starting to get some. So in the future, I'll probably cash in on these. But right now, I'm happy chilling with my profits. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Joel. All right. Thank you guys for watching my presentation.
Thank you so much, Jenna. You're amazing. Like it takes some guts to trade this heavy markets, gold, BTC, you call it, you name it, but you crush it in all, and that's just impressive. So everybody, please give a shout out to Jenna, a 7, a 3, a 1, whatever you want to put in the chat, because she's just a beast. She's the beast of the markets. All right. Well, what I have to share today, guys, is it's pretty simple how I see the market. And in fact, I just call a trade idea that I see right now on BTC. You guys can take it. It's right here. If you're not in a cautious, then that's why I put it over here. It's a buy market. We have 2,000 pips stop loss for a 2,000 TP2. We're only, writing this for very short time, okay? And I'm gonna explain why. So the way that I see the market, guys, it's always the same. It's like a language. And I think you guys have heard me said that before. The market or trading, it's a language. When you learn a language, at first, you translate things in your head. Now, let me know in the chat here who knows a second language or a third or a fourth. Let me know in the chat what language do you know? Let me know in the chat what languages do you know? So Nina says 3 languages. Merit says French, English, and Spanish. Fourth language, dang, 8. All right. So you guys, maybe it's a lot easier as you already got some languages down, but when you start learning your second language, because your first is the one that you're born with, but your second language, when you learn it, you think here before you speak it, right? That's just the normal process. My wife is learning Spanish and she thinks what she's going to say next because she doesn't know all the grammar or all the right verbs or the words or you name it. And so with trading, it's the same thing. You're learning a second or third or fourth language. And sometimes we think it here before we execute it. And so a lot of people overthink trading, and that's why they miss trades or they miss positions or they either close or exit or because they only saw $5 in profit. So that's your brain thinking before you speak it. Okay, so if you are brand new and you feel like this is you, it's okay. You're brand new. You're learning the language. But I want you to know that as you learn the language, eventually you're going to have to stop thinking before you say anything, right? Before you execute it. And so what I want to say here is that trading becomes so simple as you learn the language that you don't need to overthink it. You don't need to have a lot of indicators in your chart. You don't need to have a lot of things because the market is your language. The candles are your language. And they're speaking to you, telling you what to do every single minute. Okay. And so I wanted to open up with that for 2 reasons. One, if you're brand new, don't feel bad if you're closing too early or if you're having these issues, or it's normal. It's part of the process. And number 2, I wanted to show you the reason why I call this trade. All right. Now, a couple hours ago, I called a BTC trade for a Kashitz that already hit TP1, so we're like 1,000 pips in profit. And then as Jenna was talking, I was looking at BTC on the screen here, and I had Jenna here. And then from this angle, I was like, this seems familiar. Like whatever BTC is doing right now seems familiar. And so I started backing out. And then I found out that the same pattern that BTC is doing right now, it happened over here in April. All right. And parenthesis here, trading is a language. And so the market is speaking to you in patterns, right? What Jenna showed you, it's exactly what I do. I look at these patterns or these formations of candles or anything, if you want to call it whatever, just call it whatever. But I see these formations, and that's my confirmation for me to enter. That's the market speaking to me. And so whenever I see an M, an W, a falling wage, whatever, all these fancy terms that a lot of you brand new people don't know. But when you see these patterns, you already know the market is speaking to you, because Bitcoin or gold or you name it, doesn't matter the asset. If it did it once, it's going to do it again. And what do I mean by that? If you see one of these patterns or these formations before, guess what? It's going to happen again. Okay. And so while Jenna was talking and I was realizing this, I saw the first thing I saw, it was this. Right after the Bitcoin halving, which is a big event that happened on April, right? So it already happened. But after the halving, Bitcoin had a dip. It was in this consolidation zone. And then it created this pattern that we call it. Who can tell me in the chat? If you've been in my sessions, you know the name of this pattern. Who can tell me what it's called? Now, you don't need to know the names necessarily right away, especially if you're brand new. Don't get confused by what is a wedge, what is this, what is that. You eventually will learn language, right? Now, for those of us that have been studying for a little while, we know that we have a pattern that's like this. I'm going to put it over here. This looks like I'm flipping you off, but upside down, if you want to call it that way, if that's easy to remember. But this is called an inverter head and shoulders. Okay? This is exactly what I teach on Akashits, whether it's gold, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's whatever. And so when you have an inverter head and shoulders, this is a shoulder, this is a head, and this is a shoulder, this is a confirmation for bullish formation. Okay? Now, this is just one of the multiple patterns that the market will throw at you. And so when I was looking at this, I was like, this right here, right now, kind of looks like an inverter head and shoulders. And I was like, if it's an inverter head and shoulders, it has to reach this area right here where it started dropping. So we have all this to go up, and then we will go down here, and then we will go up here. Can you guys see this? Let me know in the chat if you can see this drawing without me drawing. Okay, now I erase it. But can you see it without me drawing it? We're gonna do it again. Down, up, up. So this is a projection, right? This is just me knowing that the market already did at inverter head and shoulders long ago. Guess what? It's gonna happen again. I don't know if this is the time or not, but this is just me projecting. Now, something that you gotta know about trading is that nothing it's gonna go 100% your way. We are projecting things based on previous performance or previous forms or formations that the market gave us. You don't know, and this is, we're going to go back to relating it to a language, speaking a language. You don't know what a person is going to respond to you when you talk to them. You can guess and kind of predict their response, but at the end of the day, you don't know 100% what they're going to say back, right? If I ask Jenna a question, I have an idea of what she could answer, but I don't know 100% what she's going to say. And so with trading, this goes back to the same principle. We speak the language, we are talking, right? But at the end of the day, we don't know what the market, Bitcoin, gold, whatever, it's going to respond back. We have an idea. This is the idea, right? That it's going to go up to this area. That's the idea. But we don't know necessarily 100% what gold or Bitcoin is going to respond to us. Does that make sense? Type a 1 in the chat if that makes sense to you. As a brand new person, as a medium trader, pro trader, if that analogy makes sense. Okay, it made sense because it's true. Okay, and so I want you guys to know that yes, we are sharing all of this patterns, we are sharing all of this knowledge, but at the end of the day, we don't know what the market is going to respond. So my strategy, guys, going back to the original questions, my strategy is based solely on market structure. That's what it's called. Market structure, which means whatever the market is setting up for us. Okay, that's the basic definition. And so what's a market structure? If I see a good support zone. Now, Joel, I don't know what a support zone is. Let me explain to you. A support zone is an area of the market, a price of the market that has gone to that point and touch it and going up. So look at this. If you throw a ball, a soccer ball, something that bounces, if you throw a ball to the floor of your house, is it gonna bounce up? There's a lot of factors in there, right? The strength that you throw it. Anyways, we're not taking that in consideration. Let's say it's one of those beach balls that are so bouncy. If you throw it to the floor, it's gonna bounce up, right? That's a support. It's supporting something and it's making it go up. Okay. So that's one of the things of market structure. Another thing super easy is resistance. Now, as the same concept of support, resistance are the ceiling of your house. So if you throw the same ball to the ceiling, tell me in the chat what's going to happen. Is it going to get stuck in the ceiling or is it going to go down? It's pretty obvious, the question, right? So if you throw a ball, it's going to fall down. Gravity is the bear, right? Gravity is the bear. So it's going to go down. And so in trading, we have this term, right, that you can also adapt to your real life, make it easy for you. But I just gave you two, right? We have a support, which means it's going to go down and bounce back. And then we have a resistance, that means it's going to go up and it's going to bounce down, right? And so those two simple concepts, it's the start of market structure. All right. And then there's other things as we go through, as you learn more, such as the patterns that you saw, right? Start identifying the why of those patterns. So for example, here is another one. Part of the structure maker on the strategy is this break of structure. So what does that mean? Break of structure means that it broke a previous structure or previous resistance or support, depending on if you're buying or selling. It broke that structure, and then you're going to get in based on that structure being broken. Now, I'm going to show you. I know probably a lot of people are like, haha, that sounds fun, but I don't understand. Here's the understanding. So this right here, guys, it's Bitcoin's previous all-time high. Bitcoin's previous all-time high was on November 13 of this year, and it was 93,400 something. Okay? What happened with Bitcoin? It went down. Woohoo. Everybody was like, no, Bitcoin going down, crazy, blah, blah, blah. All the phone. But then Bitcoin went up again. And then went down. And then went up. And guess what happened here? There's two patterns. There's two patterns on this screen right now. Two patterns that I also teach you guys on the Akashic sessions. Number one, we have a W pattern. You guys can see over here, this is a W. W means it's gonna go up. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we have a break of structure. Break of structure means that the market broke through the previous resistance, the previous ceiling, right? And then it went down to retest that previous resistance. Does that make sense? Like it's super simple, guys. Like it broke up. All you need to know is that it broke up above that. And then it went down to the same area that used to be your ceiling and now is your support. And that was the number one confirmation for me to start calling more BTC trades. And look at this. It went down, it went up, and then it created the new all-time high. I'm not talking any fancy words. I'm not saying anything that it's hard to understand. We're talking about ceilings and floors. We all have ceilings and floors. but we all know someone that has ceilings and floors, right? And so all I'm saying is that it broke the ceiling, it went down to the ceiling, and then now that ceiling, it's a support. And then guess what? We're not selling, we're buying because it hit the support. And so these two patterns being number one, the W, and number two, the break of structure, made me confident to start calling BTC trades. And this, in fact, was the first BTC trade I called. As you guys can see over here, 14 days ago, I started calling BTC trades. And since then, I think we made 80,000 pips within all the callouts. And so I'm saying this because the market speaks to you. And when the market speaks to you, you do it. You say it. You reply back. Now, if the market is going to respond another way that you don't expect it, you shouldn't care. You shouldn't care. And again, going back to the same analogy, someone says something to you, sometimes you get offended, sometimes you overthink it, sometimes you get mad, and sometimes you just don't care, right? So choose to be the person that doesn't care if the market doesn't respond the way you want. But your responsibility is to act, not to be acted upon, okay? And so we're going to be calling more BTC trades. My strategy is it's nothing I created. I want you guys to know that it was already there. It was already created. I just grab it and took advantage of it and give it to you guys. Okay. So let's see. So with this trade, that's the last thing I'm going to say. With this trade, guys, all I'm waiting is to go up to this area, and then it's gonna drop to create that pattern I just showed you. Okay. And after that, what's gonna happen? I don't know. We shall see. Okay. But if the trade or the pattern goes the way that it should, then it should go up again, and we should see close to the all-time high again, probably hitting 100K just because of the FOMO. Okay. And one last thing that I get asked a lot, what's my server? I use Coinbase spot server as the TradingView server. Why? Because it's the closest in price with TradeLocker. You're not gonna find the perfect one, okay? But if you go over here and you click BTC USD, you're gonna see all of the servers. All of the servers. I have Coinbase as the server for my price areas, okay? Because it's the closest to TradeLocker. For example, this one, which is crypto. Crypto is just the general server of TradingView. This one has a difference of 200 to 300 pips from TradeLocker. Additionally, with the spread, right? Now I'm talking fancy words. If you don't understand, that's okay. I'm talking to the ones that have these questions before. Now with this one, we only have 100 pips or less in difference. So you see the difference? So I use Coinbase because it's the closest one to the TradeLocker price. Let's see what other question I know people ask. Okay, why my stop loss is big sometimes. So I always put a 2,000 pip stop loss because if you're just trying to be picky, you're gonna get kicked out in the butt. So when you put a small stop loss on BTC, you're gonna get kicked out because BTC moves at least 500 pips within 3, 4, 5 minutes. Just as we were talking, guys, BTC went up from 95,300 all the way up to 96,500. So that's over 1,200 pips in less than an hour. And so you see what I'm saying? If you try to be picky with a small stop loss, you're gonna get kicked out a lot. And so 2000 pip stop loss is usually my price range because of number one, years of experience that I've seen the market move. And then number two, just for logics that it's not going to go up and down that much if we have a structure, if we have a pattern. Okay. That's just how it goes. It's the same way with gold. That's the reason why I have 100 pips in stop loss in gold. Same reason for the patterns. And then last but not least, lot sizes. I think Jenna made it easier. You can set that up in your trade locker. I can show you guys really quick the basic logic on lot sizes. I did this yesterday on my live session, so you can always go back and watch that. But every dollar BTC moves equals to 1 pip. Okay, you got to understand that concept first before you jump into anything. So every dollar BTC moves, it's 1 pip. Okay. Now, if you're trading with one lot and you have 2000 pip stop loss, that will equal to $2,000. Okay. So if you're using one lot, every pip it moves is $1. In this example, if we have 2000 pip stop loss, that equals to $2,000. That's a lot for your account, especially if it's funded or if it's not a big account. Okay. And so with the same logic, you start going down. Okay, so 0.5 for 2000 pip equals to $1,000. Okay, I'm risking less. Now 0.1, who can tell me what that number is? It's 200, right? Good job, Nina. And so with this same logic, you start either knowing your lot sizes, or you can make it a lot easier if you're using TradeX Mastery or Trident or Trade Locker in general. And you can come over here. Give me just 1 second. You can come over here and then you can open your trade, right? Click stop loss, put your details in it. Let's say we're gonna do 93, and then click risk. And then right here, you can either tell the broker, hey, I only want to lose $500. That's my risk, right? So if you tell the broker you only want to lose $500 here, your lot size is going to be 0.14 on a 100K account for this trade. Now, if you don't want to tell the broker you want to lose 500 or you want to risk 500, then you tell how much percentage you want to risk. And so 0.5% equals $500 loss or risk, and this will be your lot size. So Trade Locker made it so easy that everybody can do this and everybody can trade. But if you want to understand, you can start by learning this logic that $1 equals 1 pip. If you're using one lot size, every dollar or every pip that it moves equals $1. All right, that's the basic logic that you got to start with. And that's about it. So maybe we answer some questions, Jenna, or what should we do?
Yes, that would be a great idea. Josh, can you come on now and see if you can scope through some of these? We can look through them as well, but if you see any, or if you hear any, because I know you're very connected to the field as well. Like, is there something
Yeah,
we missed or that people need more clarification on? You can't learn it in one video like that we do, obviously. You should get on the live sessions, but
sure. Well, first off, I just want to let's give it up for Joel and for Jenna. Like, let's throw some love to them in the chats. Like, let's give them some fire emojis. Because they're just, they're taking time out of their day. This isn't a paid session or anything like this. They came on to give you guys some value. So let's show them some love. And yeah, I really appreciate the content that you guys put out there. I think there's definitely some questions about like some of the indicators that you use, Jenna. Like a lot of people were asking for a list of those indicators. So maybe you can just share one more time what indicators that you use when you're trading, and then I have a couple things I'll share, and then I think we can wrap up.
okay. So indicators, I'm just gonna run through them really quick. So I use
I'll
Bollinger
post them in
Bands.
the chat while
Yeah,
you say them.
like there's quite a few, but I use Bollinger Bands, Chop Zone, EMA Cross, Moving Average, which is kind of what the EMA, Relative Strength Index or RSI, Volume Oscillator, and VWAP, VWAP. So those are my main ones that I'm just looking at all the time. And that's because
Okay.
I don't speak like fluent Tradenese like Joel. Eventually, when I speak perfect Tradenese, I won't need all these like indicators probably. But if you're new, it's good because it's kind of like having the bumpers up when you're bowling, you know, helps you like know what's happening if you're new to knowing what's happening.
Awesome. I have a question for Joel as well, which is if you have like four TPs on your trades, do you close the positions like 0.25% for every TP? Or do you close 50% on TP1, another 20% on TP2, another 20% on TP3? How do you manage if you're like in a trade alert if there's four TPs?
Gotcha. So for me, number one, I only put one entry. I may put two max, like on when I'm trading, BTC, two entries max. I can't do more. I have huge respect for Jenna, but I don't have the guts to do that. But with every entry, I put the last TP that I send. So if I send a TP4, TP5, that's my original TP. Now, if I hit TP1, I have a rule that either TP1 or TP2, I close partials. Partials means 50% of the lot size. And so if I close 50%, that means I'm securing some profit and I'm leaving 50% of my original risk running. And now if it hits TP3, 4, then the only thing I do is change the stop loss. I move it up as it goes, but I don't close more partials because if I do that, then I'm not gonna make as much. Like it's just I'm gonna end up with what, $100 max profit instead of 1,000. So I only close partials at TP1 or TP2. It's your own personal decision.
Right on.
Awesome. Another question. Let's talk about news. Will I lose my account? What should I check before to start trading in connection with news? So I guess the first answer to that question is if you're doing a TradeX Mastery Challenge, make sure you do have news added. But Joel or Jenna, like how do you guys look at news? Like for BTC USD, like does that go into your guys' analysis at all?
Not really. No, not
Not with
really.
BTC?
So I'll just say it's different than like gold news. Like that's different than Bitcoin news. You know what I'm saying? Like they're way different. So like I do not watch like Matrix news. I like get my news from Instagram, y'all. Like I don't know. But I look at Coin Market Cap. And here's the deal, is like now that we have these big companies that are flooding into Bitcoin, it's good and bad. It's good because it's going to make the coin more stable, but it's also bad because there's going to be manipulation tactics at like happening as well, you know? So they're going to sell off a chunk, so buy back lower. Like they play games all the time. So when you see there's a lot of like for instance, when I was walking through the airport with my son a few days ago, and I was like, you see how it's talking about Bitcoin all-time high, da da da, all this like hype. I was like, but it's getting ready to crash. Like they're not going to tell you that until after the fact because they want you to keep buying until it hits the ceiling, right? So they want all the little people to put all their money in so that the banks can cash out and take profit, and we're the guys that get rug pulled. So you have to understand like when it's mainstream, that's good because it's going to help drive the price up, but you also have to be cautious as to when to get out because when it hits the news, it's probably too late. So I look at like favorable, like when the news is favorable towards Bitcoin, like for instance, like January 20th, when President Trump becomes official, I think we're gonna see a huge boost in Bitcoin from there because it means the future of crypto is more secured, at least for the next 4 years, right? But you'll see like in downtrends, you'll start seeing people say maybe the 100K ceiling was just out of reach. They start to get negative about it. So you'll see that the charts and the news are somewhat similar, but there is a point when we're getting to all-time highs that you have to know when to pull back because it could be they're trying to pump it up so that they can pull us out. So it's us versus big buyers. You know what I mean? Like we're the little retail traders, but you have companies also playing this game and professional traders that work for the banks playing this game as well. So it's our job to stay profitable no matter what's happening in the market. And so one thing I'll say about multiple entries. So Joel has multiple TPs. I have one TP and multiple entries. So we're like exactly opposite on that. But because I'm like, okay, my first entry sucked, my second entry sucked, but look, my third, fourth, fifth, fire. And I'm gonna make 7 grand right at the bottom. I'll lose the rest maybe if I don't hold it, but I'm definitely gonna make my money back. Like I will not close in a loss unless the sky is falling, but I won't even know if I'll believe it, even if it is. So, anyways, yeah, that's kind of like how I feel about news. I'm looking at the the market will tell you what the news is going to be, you know? So if you're watching the chart, you can tell what the news is going to be. That's probably why Joel's like whatever about news because he's like I'll just look at what the chart is saying because the news is reporting on what the chart's saying anyway and what companies are doing.
Awesome. Well, I want to just ask a question to everybody that's on Zoom. Drop a one in the chat if you're not in Akashics yet, because we promoted this out like publicly. I just want to see like drop a one in the chat if you're brand new watching this for the first time, you're not in Akashics yet. You're just trying to learn more about trading. I see some ones coming in. I see some more ones. Okay, cool. So for all of you guys that joined this Zoom that are not in Akashics, I do want to share something with you guys just to kind of wrap things up. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. I want to make sure you guys can all see this. This is the bull run that Jenna and Joel have been talking about. And you can just look it up. Look at what people are saying. Like they're saying that like here's an article where it talks about Bitcoin could reach 250,000 in 2025. There's all these different things happening in the crypto industry. And I do believe that there are some huge opportunities for 2025. And so one of the things you're going to see with the Akashics brand in 2025 is we are going to be launching a crypto academy. We have an amazing crypto educator named Armin that is putting together a crypto academy for those of you who are interested in not only continuing to do like, Forex trading, but you want to participate in these bull runs. You want to have those huge gains. You want to get into coins early. You want to learn how to trade like how Jenna and Joel are trading BTC versus USD. There's going to be a whole academy for it, which I'm really excited about. But for those of you who are not in Akashics yet, we are running a big Black Friday special right now. We're never going to run this again in Akashic. So your timing on being on this Zoom is really good timing. So right now, you can go to akashics.com/username of whoever invited you. So whoever invited you to this Zoom, make sure you get their username. And if you want to join Akashics for $149 per month, you're going to get a $50,000 trading challenge through TradeX Mastery. And so there's like a couple different phases in Akashics, and I want to just quickly talk about that. So like I believe that the first phase is like tap to trade. We have a technology called tap to trade where you can download the Akashics app, you get your challenge account, and like if Joel calls a trade, if Brent calls a trade, if Javed calls a trade, if one of the other educators calls a trade through tap to trade, you can execute and get into those trades with the click of a button in your Akashics mobile application. And so that is an amazing way to get started because you don't have to learn like everything that you just saw on this Zoom. You don't have to learn all the indicators, all of the charts. You can just literally click a button and click approve and get into those trades. And so I always like tell people when you're first starting out, like just start with that because it's a good way to get started. It's a good way to learn, and you're taking trades from educators who are doing the analysis. And so you get a $50,000 trading account to basically practice on. And here's the thing, if you win the challenge, if you demonstrate that you can profit 10%, and by the way, there's been over like 400 or 500 people in the last 30 days that have passed by taking tap to trades from educators. And so if you pass, then you get a live funded $50,000 account that you can trade on with tap to trade, and you can pull profits out of those accounts. And that's exactly what Jenna did. That's exactly what a lot of other people in Akashics have done is they've passed their challenges. They're trading on a funded account with $50,000 in other people's money, and they're pulling profits out. And the thing is, if you like, let's say you lose, like worst case scenario, you lose. You didn't burn your own capital in phase one. Then in phase two is when you can start taking trade alerts, which is more of a copy and paste. So you see a trade alert, and then you're going to see the entry price, the stop losses, the take profits, and you're going to take those trades by copying and pasting. And then, you're managing your trade effectively yourself in your own account. You can also jump on live sessions. You can use the scanners. You can use the other resources in Akashics. And then phase three is kind of where Jenna is at now, where she's become really an independent trader from starting out in tap to trade, starting out with a challenge account, then taking trade alerts. And now she's figured it out on her own, and she's been able to just literally smash it. Her account's up like, I know she's, being modest about it, but her account's up like 300% in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So, she comes on and she does her thing, but she is smashing it compared to, like, I've looked at other crypto platforms and other people that are trading. I haven't seen people, doing as well as she's doing. And, and Armin too, another one of our crypto educators, he's called trades out that some of these picks that he's called are 300 to 400% on some of those particular trades. So, you can start out at it's $149 per month for Akashics. You get that 50K trading challenge. And by the way, these trading challenges typically cost like a 50K trading challenge typically costs like $300 or $400. So we're giving that away for free for our Black Friday special, and it ends in a couple of days. So Friday is actual Black Friday, and we're going to be pushing this really hard. And then it runs through Monday, and then it's done. We'll never have a 50K challenge account again on a 149 enrollment into Akashics. And if you're somebody that wants to like really commit to this trading journey, then you could prepay for the whole year. So you save, $250 to $300 by prepaying for the whole year. You're basically getting 2 months free by prepaying $14.99 for the whole year. And you get a $200,000 trading challenge, which typically costs $1,430 to purchase a $200,000 trading challenge. So essentially, you're getting the entire Akashics brand and services for the whole year, essentially for free with your 200K trading challenge account, if you want to factor it in that way. And so it's a really, really great time, guys, to get into Akashics for those of you who are not in yet. And again, I just want to thank, Jenna, and I want to thank Joel for doing an amazing job. And if you want to learn more, from Joel, you can join Akashics and jump on his live sessions. Jenna has her own channel as well, which she has some hilarious memes in her channel about going into drawdown on when you're in some heavy trades, and it's quite funny. But anyway, appreciate all of you guys. Hope you guys all have a happy Thanksgiving with your families. We're very grateful and thankful for all of you guys within Akashics, and just looking forward to closing out November. 2025 is going to be a massive year, and you got to stay plugged in to Akashics. The bull run is here. We've got the best traders, the best educators, the best tech, best platform, tap the trade, challenge accounts. Like, it's such an exciting time for this brand. So thank you guys all. Love you all. And we'll see you guys all at the top. Happy trading.